I'm home. My voice echoed emptily in the dark entrance, where the lights had been turned off. Even though I came home tired from work, neither my wife Mary nor my daughter Lily would even say welcome back anymore. Instead, they were both glued to the TV, not even turning to look at me. I always felt disappointed, treated like an invisible man who couldn't even get the minimum greeting. Only our pet dog wagged its tail and came to me. My daughter had insisted on getting the dog, promising she would take care of it, but in the end, I was the one who had to take care of its toilet needs and walks. I'm Brandon. I work as a construction worker during the weekdays and help my brother with farm work on weekends. I'm just an ordinary middle-aged man nearing retirement. Back when my family was poor, I couldn't go to school, so my highest education is middle school. In other words, I'm a middle school dropout. Is there any dinner left? When I called out to my wife, she glared at me.
I'm watching something good right now. There's something in the fridge, right? Just heat it up yourself.
With that, she went back to her Korean drama. I sighed. At least today, she responded. On days when I come home late due to overtime, the whole house is dark and everyone is asleep. In the morning, they don't get up until late, so I prepare breakfast. When did things become like this? I've been working tirelessly for my family, but now they don't even look at me. A sense of emptiness wells up inside me. It wasn't always like this. When we first got married, if I caught a cold and had a fever, Mary would worry and kindly take care of me, making soup. Now, she just says,
"Don't give it to us."
My wife prioritizes herself and our daughter first, then the dog. I'm not even second. I'm third. If that. The dog probably eats better food than I do. However, because cleaning the dog's toilet is dirty and smelly, they make me do it. They also don't want to get sunburned, so neither my wife nor my daughter takes the dog for a walk. I do it instead. I ate the leftovers from the fridge as they were. Even when warmed up in the microwave, they still tasted bland. I met my wife Mary at a Christmas party for the construction company I work for. She was one of the hired companions, and I fell in love at first sight. In the heat of the moment, I confessed my feelings, and we ended up getting married. But Mary had been divorced and had a young daughter, Lily. Her ex-husband had cheated on her and left her and Lily behind. I felt sorry for Mary and decided to take care of Lily as well. For the first few years, things went well. Lily was very attached to me, and we were like a real family, happy together. However, around the third year of our marriage, Mary gradually began to show her true colors. She started saying that my salary wasn't enough. Even though I only have a middle school education, I earn a decent income through physical labor. I also got certified to operate heavy machinery and have several subordinates because I work diligently. Despite this, Mary said,
"This is nowhere near enough. I became the wife of a middle school dropout like you. You need to make me live more luxuriously. You'd prefer your wife to stay young and beautiful, right? Women are expensive, so you need to earn more."
Mary, being a high school graduate, looked down on me for being older and having only a middle school education. It's true that I'm 5 years older than her. While that might be a significant age difference during school years, it's negligible for adults. When I argued, "But I want to take weekends off to spend time with Lily," Mary sneered at me.
"Listen, if an old man like you is seen with cute Lily, you'll be reported as a suspicious person immediately."
That's ridiculous. We're family. I was filled with frustration. When I retorted, my daughter Lily, with a face just like her mother's, said,
"You're not my real dad. You're tanned and look like a cockroach, so I don't want to be with you."
I was shocked as if struck by lightning by those words. Maybe I was the only one who thought we were doing well as a family. My mind went blank. Later, I found out that Mary had been bad-mouthing me to Lily, saying that my dark, sunburned skin made me look poor. She had also been telling her that I wasn't her real father, among other things. It's true that both Mary and Lily are fair-skinned beauties. I work outside under the scorching sun, enduring the heat and sweating profusely to support my family. It's inevitable that I get tanned.
You need to earn money for us. That's your job. You promised you'd never let us suffer and that you'd support us for life.
Mary brought up my proposal words as if to seal the deal, and I bit my lip. I did say that. It's true that I promised that when we got married. But this isn't quite what I had in mind. I finally understood that when I met Mary, she had been abandoned by her husband and was reluctantly working as a companion. I confessed my love at first sight, but honestly, I never thought a beautiful woman like Mary would marry a middle school dropout like me, a construction worker. Somewhere in my heart, I knew. But the life I had gained was too happy, so I pretended not to notice. Mary had never once told me she loved me. What Mary needed was a convenient second husband who could be a source of money. She didn't marry me out of love. I was so shocked that I considered divorce at that moment. After all, Mary and I didn't have any children together yet. I had wanted to give Lily a sibling, but we hadn't been blessed with another child. No wonder, since Mary had been finding various excuses to avoid intimacy, and before I knew it, our sex life had completely disappeared. I couldn't bring myself to beg for a relationship with someone who looked down on me. In a way, this was an opportunity. When we got married, I adopted Lily, but she isn't my biological child. Even though I married the woman I fell in love with and vowed to take responsibility for her for life, being treated as a mere ATM was too painful and frustrating. However, when I consulted a lawyer, I was told that it would be difficult under the current circumstances. Mary hadn't committed any acts of infidelity, and this situation didn't constitute a serious reason for divorce. Isn't being treated as an ATM a serious reason? On my way back from the lawyer's office, I unusually stopped by a bar and drank heavily. I don't remember much, but apparently, I told Mary about my conversation with the lawyer when she asked.
Oh, really?
Her voice and the nasty, sneering smile she gave me are etched in my memory. That might have been the decisive moment. I gave up on the idea of divorce and just buried myself in work. At work, my colleagues treat me like a human being, and if I work hard, I see results. On weekends, if I stay home, my wife and daughter complain, so I started helping my brother with his farming. Farming relies heavily on manpower and physical strength, so I was very welcomed and felt very happy. As time passed, Lily grew up and became more and more like her mother. She is fair-skinned and beautiful, but cold-hearted, expecting others to serve her. After graduating from a private high school, she became a NEET. She lives a life like every day is Sunday with my wife, barely speaking to me and glaring at me if our eyes meet. I want to ask her who she thinks is supporting her lifestyle, but I hold back to avoid a fight. It seems she's trying to find a marriage partner, but her standards are too high, and she can't find anyone. One day, with my retirement next month, my wife asked,
Hey, you're going to get re-employed after retirement, right?
I replied, No, physical labor is tough. I want to take it easy for a while. For many years, I worked tirelessly without rest, while my wife and daughter did nothing. I want to take a break. Then my wife said,
What? What about living expenses? How are you going to make money? You don't plan to stay home all the time, do you?
She asked, looking alarmed. I had a plan for after retirement, but I played dumb and answered. Living on a pension isn't so bad. We have some savings, right? As long as we don't live extravagantly, we'll be fine.
No way. Don't be ridiculous. You promised to let me live in luxury for the rest of my life. You're just a middle school dropout who can only make money.
My wife started to get hysterical. I calmly said, "Mary, I'm already at retirement age. It's okay for me to stop working now, isn't it? Can't you let me have a break?"
You've got to be kidding. You don't need a break. If you're going to talk like that, I've got my own plans.
She glared at me and stormed out. A few weeks passed. Last week, I retired successfully. I knew my wife and daughter were looking at me bitterly as I relaxed in the living room, but I ignored them since it was my house. Then, my wife, in a good mood, said,
Lily might be able to marry a guy she met on a dating site. He's a handsome CEO from a top university.
I didn't think much of it and replied, "That's great. Congratulations." After all, my daughter, who had been in need and living off us, had finally found happiness. It was something to celebrate. My wife, reacting to my response, said,
You're so clueless. That's why middle school dropouts are useless.
Surprised, I looked at her, and she gave me a nasty smile and continued,
So, you're no longer needed as an ATM. Get out, you unemployed retiree.
My daughter joined in, laughing.
Mom's right. You've always been an eyesore. I'm so relieved.
I knew I was being treated like an ATM, but it was still a shock. So, Mary, Lily, you've always thought of me as just a money source? You never loved me as a family?
Of course. From the beginning.
When I asked, my wife answered bluntly and handed me the divorce papers. My daughter added,
Here, I packed your stuff. Get out, you ugly middle school dropout.
and threw my old bag at me. I was really angry, but I calmly replied, I see your true colors now. I'll divorce you. I told myself it was good to cut ties with these parasites.
Oh, since I've supported you all this time, we'll take all your retirement money.
She said brazenly, but I responded calmly, Fine. Let's get a lawyer and put it in writing.
Don't ever show your face to us again. From now on, we're strangers.
Mary agreed.
Exactly. We're going to be living the high life, so we need to cut ties with someone like you.
All right, I'll leave the rest to the lawyer. And so, my wife and I divorced. The condition was that I would give them all my retirement money in exchange for no division of property. Since I divorced Mary, I also dissolved the adoption with Lily. We had lived together for many years, and I had raised her as my own child since she was little. I had some affection for her, but if she said we were strangers, then it was over. I decided to cut ties completely. A few months later, Mary called me several times. I had a bad feeling, but when I called back, Mary shouted,
I was wrong. Let's start over.
I was surprised by the unfamiliar, sweet tone in her voice.
You're so secretive. Why didn't you tell me you started a company?
Apparently, Mary had run into my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, in town. I had been busy with a certain plan after retirement and hadn't been able to help my brother for a while. I didn't want to report it over the phone, so I hadn't told my brother and his wife about the divorce yet. When Mary told my sister-in-law about our divorce, she hurriedly said,
Oh, you didn't know?
and revealed my recent activities to Mary.
Why didn't you tell me? You're doing so well that you're being interviewed by magazines. A company needs a beautiful CEO's wife for promotion.
Actually, after retiring, I started a company with my former subordinates. The construction industry is now entering the agricultural sector. Due to the prolonged recession and declining population, large-scale public works have decreased, and the construction industry is rapidly shrinking. Amid this, more companies are finding opportunities in the agriculture, forestry, and fisheries sectors, which are suffering from a lack of successors. The Agricultural Land Act was amended in 2009, significantly relaxing the requirements for corporations to own farmland. The construction company I worked for was one of them. Since my brother is a full-time farmer, I had been helping the company enter the agricultural sector. After consulting with the company's accountant and president, it was decided that after a short break to refresh myself post-retirement, I would establish a separate company as an agricultural corporation and become its CEO. What happened to Lily's fiancé? I asked, thinking they had found a new ATM and that's why they divorced me. My wife, angry, explained.
That man was a complete fraud. It was a marriage scam.
She told me the details. His prestigious university degree was a total lie. He claimed he urgently needed business funds and had various schemes that would supposedly make a lot of money. In the end, he swindled all of my retirement money from them. And now he's unreachable. I almost laughed at how they got what they deserved. Sorry, but I have no intention of remarrying, I declared.
Then give me more money. We need living expenses.
The nerve of her. I replied calmly. We signed the papers, didn't we? We're strangers now. Why should I give money to a stranger? Mary fell silent. I continued. Mary, both you and Lily are healthy and perfectly capable of working. Take responsibility for your own lives and earn your own money. Mary snapped back.
Don't be ridiculous. I stayed with you until retirement. So give me more money, you middle school dropout.
Is that so? And yet, it was this middle school dropout who supported you all this time. You don't even have a shred of gratitude. Well then, get out of my house. I'll be filing for alimony.
What? The house is mine, right? What do you mean by alimony?
My wife shouted in distress, but my lawyer had already informed me. My wife and daughter's behavior over the years was undoubtedly emotional abuse. Back then, it was difficult to prove after just 3 years, but now it was a solid reason for divorce and I could claim alimony. So, I had decided that if my wife ever tried anything again, I would completely cut ties and seek revenge. No, it's not included in the division of property, and it's in my name. I thought you'd be in trouble without a place to live, but that was unnecessary.
Wait. That would be a problem.
My wife suddenly became weak, but she still didn't apologize. That was the kind of person Mary was. It's too late. The house was old and I didn't need it anyway. I'm living in a different apartment now. I'll put it up for sale, so move out soon. I hung up the phone. After that, I asked the lawyer who handled my divorce to claim alimony from Mary. The lawyer was diligent and assured me,
we won't let her get away without paying alimony.
So, I felt relieved. The house sold successfully. They reluctantly moved out and left the pet dog with me. It seemed they hadn't taken the dog for a walk in a long time, and it was overjoyed to see me. You're the only one. I'll take good care of you from now on. It's a bit sad to think that we could have lived happily as a family like this dog, but it's their own fault. Mary had always been a housewife with almost no work experience. Lily, after graduating from high school, was in need under the guise of helping with housework. Their future life will be tough, but they're strangers to me now, and it's none of my business. Now, as a CEO, I have responsibilities. Many of my young subordinates who followed me have wives and children. For their sake, I'll do my best in this second chapter of my life.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.